Hey everybody, welcome to Obscurities and Miniatures. And you know what? I hate to say it, but I've been spending way too much time looking at those Joy Toy models of 40k stuff. I will admit it. And most recently I was looking at, they had that Space Wolves Dreadnought. And if you've seen this channel a few times, I have a very, very strong weakness for big, giant robots. Always have, probably always will. Despite my lack of 40k knights and the like, but that's a different story. Anyway, so I kept looking at that Joy Toy Dreadnought for the Space Wolves, and I was like, oh, that looks really nice, but it is not cheap. And then, you know what? I came to the perfect conclusion. I had the files for the new Asgardian Arktos Dread from Atlan Forge, and I don't think I've printed any actual Dreadnoughts style mechs. I know I have my big cybernetic triceratops of theirs, which we'll have to grab in a sec. But when I saw that they were doing a Dreadnought and it was just as blinged out as I like, I was like, ooh, we got to get this going. So, behold his main body. This thing gave me a hassle, I will admit, and it ended up just being me. I needed to change the film at the bottom of the resin vat. You'll see there's still a few spots that I need to knock those little supports out of. Atlan Forge is wonderfully obnoxious about putting in the tiniest little detail supports and having to remove them. It's like I'm constantly finding them afterwards. But you'll notice just the body itself, all kinds of fun stuff to paint, wires everywhere, fancy runic filigree everywhere. And this top section's really cool because if you have any of their other Dreadnought options, you can actually mount all sorts of fun goodies there. Or if you'd rather not mount anything at all, that's an option too, which is what I'm digging for in my box of parts for this guy. Here it is. There's just a nice little cap. Beep. Oh, or is this broken off? I broke one of his hands, unfortunately, but that's on me. No, I'm pretty sure that's what that is. Okay, so let's start taking a look at the parts. What's interesting is you have three options available for the forward-facing part. There's the traditional coffin-style box. There was a bear skull, and what I thought was the most fun was it had like a whole embossed bear relief on the front of it. I'm like, yep, that's what we're doing. And that just fits in like that. You'll notice there's these two empty sections on the side of his head. That's because you get to throw in even more weapon systems there. I don't remember what there was off the top of my head, but I opted for big racks of missiles. So, I think that part I was showing you did come... Yeah, I don't know where I put the cap. Oh well, I don't have the cap for the top part, so we're going to put the nice double-barrel Gatling gun that fits right up there. That'll be fun. It's actually a misprint. I'm not going to tell you where it's misprinted, but it's hard to notice unless you're really, really looking for it or having me point it out to you. And I'm not going to this time. So, ha. Okay, the shoulders. Big, bulky shoulder pads. Again, lots of bling on these. Everything's already been hollowed out, which is always nice. That doesn't belong there. And you'll see there's two more hard points up on the tops of those shoulders, along with lots of skulls and other assorted bits. Those two spots there on top of the shoulders are another weapon hard point. So I opted for some flamers since we've already got the big Gatling gun. We've got rockets or missiles on there. There were at least 2 or 3 options, I think, for the shoulders. And again, if you have access to other dreads that they've done, I know they did the big silverback dread. They did the Minoan bull Taurus thing, the T-Rex, the Triceratops. You got a lot of options. Okay, here is the groin/waist. I should finish the arms, shouldn't I? That would make more sense, probably. On the cape, on the waist, we'll get to the cape, he's got a little loincloth cape that can hang off there. That's an optional bit, which naturally I'm going to go with because it looks cool. And there is an entire cape if you wanted to so have your Dread really blinged out. That just kind of clips on down there. Which absolutely I will be using. Alright, so let's see here. Here are the arm parts, what they're going to do. You'll see I was fooling around with it already. That's why it's got that ring around it. I'm not going to shave it down yet, but basically you're going to attach that there. That is a leg in my hand for some reason. And then it's going to slot into the arms like so. And again, I do need to clean out some of those tiny little supports, but I had to go with the big giant power claws. Now there were a couple of different options for the arms. You could have guns in lieu of hands completely. There was a hammer, an axe, power shield, and the claws. So you had a couple variations available. Underneath those, obviously, we're going to do the legs. That is the upper leg. Somewhere I have the lower leg. I don't know what I did with it. Well, they look like this. And they're just going to slide in there. Like so. And then we have the lower leg armor. It's quite fancy looking. And then we have the foot itself. And then we had these shoulder armors, I believe, go like that. Elbow armor, maybe? Some kind of fancy little piece there. I'm actually surprised they didn't have a couple of different variations on designs. It's the same for both. But there's definitely, as is the case with a lot of these big pieces, a whole lot of resin. So be prepared for that. Be smart, unlike me. Learn from my mistakes. And make sure that you have that film at the bottom of your vat nice and clean and ready to go, so you don't have to waste a ton of time reprinting over and over and over again. But once you got it there, I think it's going to be a nice piece. So let me get it put together and we'll see how it turns out. All right, we got most of our Arktos Dread put together here. And truth be told, I have not actually glued the arms on yet, okay? I figured it's just going to kind of get in the way, and I got to sand them down a bit on the insides. So I figure not a huge deal. And something else I discovered, I didn't glue his cannon on top down yet, is that if you have access to any of the other Dreadnought sized models from Atlan Forge, and I just snapped a wire off, fun, their weaponry work just as nicely and is compatible. So if you do have access and you want to really customize them up, even like the bolters here on the front legs of the Triceratops, those are going to match in the same size as those pindles for the flamers that I've got on there. I'm not sure which is actually heavier. They both have a heft to them. I mean, and they're both hollowed models, which is what's kind of crazy. But obviously they're both lacking bases still. Let's take a closer look at our Arktos here. So you can see I don't have his arms pushed all the way in. They are a little long. I mean, that's kind of up to me posing them as well. And I got a weird, funky positioning with the legs, but that's pretty typical, and I'll let that slide. That's not a big deal. Unfortunately, due to how I posed him, and I kept the cape off as well, just because I think that's going to be a real pain trying to get behind that. Once he is on a base, it's pretty much just going to sit like that. Maybe trailing behind him a little bit more. I never did find that plug, and I did print it, so maybe I ended up using it as a base. Actually, it would be a pretty decent sized base for a Atlan Forge model. I printed up a Tech Bro while I was at it. Got him primed up. I didn't do the best job on the face. Unfortunately. That's just me going crazy with the primer. course, that's nothing that a little bit of sloppy painting won't clear up. But these guys, I was kind of tempted. This is totally going off on a tangent now. They had the plasma type pistols with the hoses attached to them, and I was thinking it might make like one of those dudes, like the 30K, I don't know, they had like the Volkite guns or something, like the dual wielding pistolier dudes. I thought that might be a fun option, but they also had holstered pistols, which I don't think I can recall seeing on a lot of other kits. So if you do have access to the tech bros, something to keep in mind. So this is a big model, obviously. I don't actually own any Dreadnoughts in any shape or size, other than my giant, what were they called? The Mad Thunders? The Zoid Triceratops? That sounds right. I've got him, and I was holding out. I've been working on putting green stuff on other kits anyways, so I figured that was the right time to pull him out of retirement and get him finished. I do have my Salamandra tag, which should give you a good size indication there. You know, this is a big model for Infinity, and he barely gets up to the chest of our Dreadnought. Grabbing some other marine type dudes. And again, keeping in mind that they're actually on bases. He's a big dude. You might want to think about shrinking down the size of him using some other Atlan Forge heavy infantry dudes. I can't remember the name of the shark guys, but there's always... That's one of the things I really dig about Atlan Forge's models as well, is that all of their chapters that they've been making, they've just been running wild with the look and theme behind each one. And I like that. I like that uniqueness that makes them stand out more. The overt bling of these Templar-like warriors. Fun stuff. And the very barbaric Celtic look to the out of focus Asgardians. So yeah, I think once he's all painted, this is going to be quite the impressive model. If I can, there we go. Make it a cape, not a skirt. So if you've got yourself plenty of resin and you're in need of some major firepower, I think these guys are going to bring some serious oomph to the table. Hopefully, once I've got it painted, we'll get him into some one-page rules situations. By far my favorite go-to get on the table and start playing skirmish rule set. I want to say, do these guys have rules in it? I'm not even sure. Hopefully they will in the future. But anyways, we'll have a link down below if you want to check out these models yourselves. If a regular, more normal looking Dread isn't your fancy and you need something crazier, like Triceratops or, you know, T-Rex with gun hands, then Atlan Forge will definitely have you covered. So with that said, this has been High Lord Tamberlane with Obscurities and Miniatures, saying thanks for watching, and we will see you back here soon. Bye-bye.